Lago Maggiore has been steeped in history following its formation, long before the first settlements appeared here during the Copper Age. It's been part of disasters during World War II and plays host to the site of botanical gardens on the Brazzago Islands. In 1936, a Bugatti Type 22 crashed into the lake by employees of a Swiss architect who hadn't paid his taxes on the car. Fortunately, tonight our drivers don't have to worry about crashing into the lake thanks to the barriers that surround Lago Maggiore West ahead of round 3 of the Renault Megane Trophy, sponsored by Power Max Racing. I'm Jack TM53 Synopsis, your commentator for tonight, and joining me during qualifying is one of the drivers who were unable to qualify due to there being a top 4 reverse grid being in place, and that's D Whitehouse 7, otherwise known as Dave.
Oh yeah, it's good to join you, Alan. Can't really do a lot.
No, at the moment you are stuck in effectively the pit lane for the time being, just having a quick scan through the drivers. As I've just mentioned, it is a top 4 reverse grid tonight, so the top 4 in the championship standings will be starting from the back of the grid. They're going to have to try and sieve the way through the field to get up the grid order. I'm sure Dave will be planning on that as well. So we'll have a run through the championship standards first and see what the positions are currently. So at the moment, in first place in the championship is Carterboy 99 with 38 points. Second, obviously, D Whitehouse 7, Dave is with us, is on 36 points. KZ2 Haas is joint second with him on 36 points. Zlatan, who is 4th, Zlatan is back, he's on 27 points. Those are the top 4 who will be starting from the reverse grid, remember. In 5th is Snav on 24 points. 6th, Richard P, 3310, 20 points. 7th is Sir Bertus on 19. 8th is NGR Danzo on 18. 9th is Jay Coleman 89, who's currently at the top of the left-hand standings, you can see there. He's on 16 points. Kyonko-chan is 10th in the Zerko-Tech car. He's on 15 points. DMK60 is on 13 points, or rather DMK 80. 12th, Shadow Stalker, he's on 8. Slow Seamus is on 7 points. He's back tonight in the Workex car. Good to have him back with us. We weren't sure whether he would be going into tonight's racing. Greener Army is at 14th on 6, and 1805, the perennial unlucky driver of this series so far, is 15th overall. Qualifying due to start any moment now. Dave, looking at it in terms of how the circuit is, as we just switch over to the spectate mode there, how do you feel about this circuit? Is it a challenge for you, or do you find it particularly easy?
Well, I haven't a huge amount of experience on this particular version quite often, but we don't miss too much out. I find it quite a bit of a challenge. There's 3 or 4 corners where you just have to be very patient on the throttle, or you're just going to wash out off the track and lose too much time.
Yeah, no, for certain, absolutely. I think there are a few corners, like you said, that they do have, they are causing patience. 1805's going round turn 4 at the moment, or rather turn 3 at the moment, and that's one of those corners where if you run a little bit too wide, you go straight into the gravel. So that's something to keep an eye out on. What is your sort of plan for tonight, Dave? What are you looking at? I mean, obviously start from the back, you've got to try and push yourself through the grid. Are you going to go aggressive, or are you going to take your time? What's the idea?
Oh, that would be giving it away. To be fair, I'm not normally such an aggressive driver. I do try and take my time to get through the pack. Having saying that, Carterboy's been very quick in practice and has been the main challenger in the races so far. So I'm expecting him to fight his way through pretty quickly. So I might just have to follow him through as quick as I can, and then have a battle later on in what is quite a long race at half an hour. It is
going to be quite a long race. It's 20 minutes long. These races are in the Megane Trophy, and looking at that, some circuits do appear to take longer for the drivers because they have to do more laps. Bit of a sort of psychological battle on that one, but round Maggiore lap times, we're sort of looking at the 25s potentially for pole, maybe even a 24 from a couple of drivers. Like you said, Dave, Carterboy had got into the 24s earlier on during practice. So it's going to be an interesting race. It's just watching Slow Seamus there in the Workax car. He's driving the number 228. Gonna be interested to see how he gets on. He didn't have the best of luck last week. He was involved in a number of incidents, ended up retiring from the race. Car hasn't suited his driving style in the opening 2 rounds. We're hoping tonight that things improve for him, so we'll see how we get on. We're just going to watch a few drivers at the moment, just having a quick scan through. Dave, I was wondering if it'd be possible if you wanted to maybe just have a little out lap and then jump back into the pits.
Yeah, I can do.
Just watch DMK there, just coming out of the turn 3 into the west section of the track. There comes Dave there, he's just in the pits. And Dave will take you a run through of the circuit effectively, as best as he can in his Hampshire car.
Okay, I will just pull over to the side and let these guys get through qualifying. And the run down into turn 1 is such a hard braking area for its 90-degree corner. You drop down to 3rd gear, 2nd for turn 2, which comes back on itself. I'll just let this other guy through. And then you go straight, almost automatically into turn 3, which is off camber. And if you get on the power too early, you drift out wide. You just saw Shadow Stalker having to pull it back there. 4, 5 and 6 completely flat through these corners. And then you have a very long run where you've got a very good opportunity to overtake down at turn 7, which, even though you're coming down the hill, you expect to have to brake really early, but you don't. You can brake quite late because the camber helps you. You get on the power nice and early, and then through turns down to turn 8 and 9, flat out. So you just got to keep the line. If you get it wrong in 8, you can run wide over this curb on the left hand side, but straight into turn 9 and 10, you've got, as you can see from here, you don't really stop turning the wheel, and you go through the chicane as tight as you can, try and get the best run out for this corner, because when you get to the final corner, it's all about the entry. If you get the entry right, you can get on the power early, not run too wide, and that is already your first lap over with. So it's a very short lap, and it's going to be a huge, well, feel like a lot of laps for a lot of drivers.
Ah, brilliant that, Dave, absolutely brilliant. Looking at it then, that was a driver's perspective really of the track of Lago Maggiore West, which is the variant. Obviously there is the GP circuit which splits off and goes further on, like Dave mentioned earlier. Snav currently on provisional pole, he's 200ths up, he's got a bit of a time penalty as he goes around the final corner. He's ahead of Jay Coleman, 89 by 200ths of a second. DMK is only 300ths of a second behind. Looks like though DMK is on a better lap in the Sales I car. Let's see what time he sets as he comes across the line. And he does go fastest. He goes 3/10 quicker than Snav. He's on provisional pole. Great start for DMK tonight. Hasn't had the best of luck as DMK so far this season. Best result was last time out at Kyoto. He was 9th. His best qualifying was 10th. So he's already way ahead of that. And
well, just while you say that, Snav has just gone fastest in the first sector.
He has indeed.
Is pushing hard to try and gain that first place back. Jimmy Coleman's up into 3rd place, and 18.05's gone fastest.
There we go, 18.05 on a 24/7. I said that earlier on that the times could go into the 24s. 18.05 again is another driver who's had a lot of bad luck. He was retired at Brands Hatch after an incident with Kyonko-chan, but again, here we are. The times are going to be changing ever constant. DMK is on another lap. Where is Snav in all of this? He's done a personal best in his 2nd sector by the looks of things. So will his lap time hold up as he goes through the final corner? I'm just going to jump onto roof cam with him. See what he does as he crosses the line. He improves, but only by a 10th now, so he lost a little bit of time. Dave, are you noticing anything else on circuit at the moment?
Well, so far I'm just looking at the timing sheets, and I'm surprised to see Richard P down in 7th place, considering the top 4 in the championship but not qualifying. he was the next one up sort of over the last 2 rounds, and he's down in 7th at the moment, so he'll be looking to improve from there.
For certain, yeah.
So on top of that, we've got Jay Coleman. He's been sort of 8th to 10th, roughly, for the first couple of rounds, up in 3rd place, and a good chance to push on to get some strong points in the championship.
Yeah, he was. He was 11th at round 1. He had a bit of a mixed race at Brands Hatch, and then he finished 7th last time out after having a really good scrap with Sir Bertus. He's just run wide coming out of turn 3, which is one of those corners Dave mentioned earlier on where you could end up understeering wide off circuit. Snauf has gone, I think, purple again, has he, in the 2nd sector, by the looks of things?
Not according to the time. It's DMK.
DMK who's now going even quicker.
In the middle sector.
So
I'm expecting a bit more for Snauf because he was 2nd on the grid in the last round at Kyoto. So
he was alongside you.
Yeah, and he pushed me for I think he had a bad start to the race, but he was still quick throughout.
Yeah, he got caught up he just brushed the wall at turn 3 at Kyoto on lap 1, and it dropped him right the way back in his Power Products car, so hopefully he'll be able to build on this. He's only just shy of 5 tenths off the pace. Seamus is in 5th, it's much better showing for Seamus. Bertus is 6th, he was the one who finished in 8th place last time out at Kyoto after having a great scrap with Richard P for most of the race. He's down in 8th. Only set at 26.3, he's 1.6 off. Hoping to see more from Richard, because he can go quicker than that in the Mastervolt car. Shadowstalker's got a good showing, he's inside the top 10, he's 9th in the Geisen car. Danzo is 10th, he's 3 tenths off the back of Shadowstalker. And then Greener Army in the Dread car has gone off at, I believe that's turn 4 and 5 complex. He's gone off, he's pulled over to the side to let, I think it's Coleman through there, so seems like a very close grid at the moment. Coleman's going quicker though.
It is quickest by Coleman in the 1st sector. I was just looking actually at 1805's times, and he hasn't seemed to be able to match that 24/7 since he set it. I don't know whether he just sort of managed to get a bit of slipstream on that lap to gain the 3 tenths, or it was just a spot on lap. He hasn't had the consistency to match it.
No, that's true. Looking at it, he's only been in the 24s once. He's had 2 25s, a 26 and 27. So consistency to be found from 1805, but he's still going to be pleased that he's got 3 tenths of DMK at the moment. He's just coming across the line. He's gone slower than he did before. Where is Coleman through all this? He's now approaching the final corner as we tick over the 10-minute timings on the bottom left corner of your screen there. Hopefully everyone can see that. So qualifying should effectively be over as Coleman crumbs to the line. He goes 2nd, 10th and a half off 1805. Really close in the top 5 at the moment, separated by, well, the top 4 separated by 3.5 tenths.
That's a great lap for Jay Coleman. I've been speaking to him as I've known him from university a few years ago, and he's been struggling to find the pace of his car, but this track seems to be suiting him, and hopefully take advantage of the 4 of us being at the back to score strong points.
For certain, absolutely for certain. Just seeing who else. There's someone off at the hairpin. I'm not quite sure who that was. They're still there currently. And Slow Seamus has just gone fastest of all with a 24.69. I said earlier on he'd had such a torrid time last time out at Kyoto Driving Park, but here he is with provisional pole right at the end of the session. I suspect, there we go, that is the pole position, man. Slow Seamus, wow. What a race we've got at.
That by Seamus. Now I better go jump to the car.
You've best had, Dave. You've best had. Great having you here, Dave. As Dave now.
Thank you.
Now Dave jumps into the race. Here we are then, and it's completely reversed the entire grid. So this is not what we were expecting. But here we are, the time is coming up and the race is live. And Greener Army has stayed stationary, which as I suspected would be. There's a lot of carnage at the front. don't worry, there will be a race restart just to make sure that the timings are correct and the grid order is determined as it was in practice. So that would mean effectively that 1805 I believe will be in the top 3 placings, I think, as well. And it was Slow Seamus who was in first. We've got everyone currently racing at the moment. I don't think everyone is completely aware of what's going on. Seamus putting some comments in the chat box there at the moment. I'm fairly certain this will switch round because Greener Army, as per usual, my timing screens have glitched out as they tend to do. We can just jump straight back in. And there we go, he's pulled over to the side as Greener Army. He's the one who's the lobby host. So there you go, you can see John's just put there in the comments box, John is Greener Army. He said, sorry, something went wrong. But let's enjoy this mini race that we've got for the time being. Kyonko-chan currently in the lead at the moment. D Whitehouse 7, who was in the chat with us before, he's second. Carter Boy is third. Coleman in 4th place, 1805. Currently having Shadow Stalker on his inside. He was running in second just prior to this. He's been absolutely hit wide. That's a nightmare for Shadow Stalker. He's going to drop right the way down. Snav does well to avoid him going around the outside of turn number 13. We come now down towards turn 1. Got Richard P there in the Master Vault car running in 10th in this sort of race. I am assuming, of course, that we will be restarting the race because Greener Army is still at the side of the road. Something obviously hasn't adjusted properly. There's DMK in the Sales I car. Slow Seamus, he will hopefully be able to take his rightful grid position in 14th as we wait for the other drivers to come through and wait for Greener Army hopefully to reset. Kyonko-chan currently being overtaken by Carter Boy, and he's just lost the lead there. D Whitehouse trying to look at the outside. Yeah, Seamus is saying in the corner there, you can see in the comments box on the left hand side, it's gone wrong. It's all a little bit messy at the moment, you can see that. It seems as if most of the grid was reversed. It seems that the positions were out of place, so we're just going to wait and hopefully see the race restart. We are on lap 2 of what seems to be this, I want to call it an alternate race at the moment. We've got 1805 in the Steel Seal car there, he's in 4th. Coleman in the 3M car, he's 5th place at the moment. There's KZ2 Haas, who's 2nd overall in the championship. He's in 6th place, and then there's a big gap back to Danzo. But we will await and see what will happen next in terms of the lobby being restart. So you can see we've got Danzo there, we've got Snav, Richard P in the Master Vault car. There's Slat on his back, he's got some huge damage in the back left corner on his Adrian Flux car as they approach now turn number 7 in the hairpin. He's on the inside, should be moved on with no issues at all, and it is. There he goes, Latan up to 9th place. Looking at how things have panned out so far, it seems with other drivers being out of position, if you look at the top 4 in the championship, you've got D Whitehouse, he's in 5th, Haas is 3rd, Carter Boy is 1st, and you've got at the moment all the way back in 9th is Zlatan. So whether this race will be restarted or not, you will hope, or rather Zlatan will hope in any sense, that he'll get the chance to have a second crack at the preceded Shadow Stalker. He's dropped all the way back now to 13th in the Geisen car. He's got Suburtus in front of him in 12th place. Green Army still at the side of the road. He is currently messaging in another chat room at the moment just to say that he's sorting out the lobby. So it does look like the race will hopefully restart. See a few people are just currently hopefully trying to sort out the settings. We've got the couple of cars at the moment. So you've got Kyonko-chan off in the gravel at turn 7 in the hairpin there. Coleman, he's in third at the moment in the 3M car. Haas is second. Carter Boy, championship leader, leading this race at the moment. We are still waiting on the restart. I know I keep mentioning it, but it does seem that the positions were out of order. And I'm sure there would be an inquest into that. Just currently watching Carter Boy in the fast car there, currently in first position. There's Haas in second in the Garage Tile Floor Company car. Coleman, he's currently in third. DYR7 is fourth. There's a whole train of cars coming through. Danzo 3 wide going into turn 2. Kyonko-chan's been pushed slightly wide. We've got Snav also in the Power Products car. He's trying to sort of force his way through, which I believe he has, and he's got himself up into 7th. Kyonko-chan down to 8th. There's Zlatan, there's Richard P. DMK is right the way back in 11th. Suburtus is 12th. Shadowstalker 13th. And Green Army is still waiting by the side of the circuit. As we just cut the way back through. Seems to be a big battle going on. I think some of the drivers probably are unaware of the fact that we're going to be racing shortly. I'm thinking a restart in that sense, because we've already run 7 minutes so far. That's a very messy overtake from Kyonko-chan there. He's absolutely punted Zlatan wide going through into turn 10. He's run wide again. Zlatan's got himself back past Richard P. Bit more contact between Zlatan and Kyonko. Not ideal for the pair of them. It's a great lap that from Carter Boy 99, who's in the lead at the moment, still at 24 flat as DYL's all over the grass with 18.05 next to him. Gets on the inside as 18.05, he's up into 4th. There's Coleman, he's in 3rd place currently. Haas in 2nd, he's got him right behind him. It's 18.05, there's DYL's all over the extension there. That was one of the corners that Dave was mentioning earlier on. Something to keep an eye out on in terms of drivers running wide. Snav is 6th. He's got this huge battle with Richard P, Kyonko-chan and Zlatan. There's more contact between the two. That is going to be a rivalry that's going to end up in a crash at some point during this race. Look at this DMK now on the inside. He's trying to make a move up the inside. Not going to happen. Kyonko-chan's been particularly messy. It's all messy. It's all gone wrong. Wonderful car control / luck for DMK in the Sales I car, but he won't be pleased with that. It's all gone a little bit messy during this current practice race at the moment. So let's call it a practice race. Whilst the lobby settings are sort of fixed, as Richard P goes up the inside of the Fuchs car there. They're still at it, Kyonko-chan and Zlatan at the moment. They're still battling alongside one each other and still knocking 7 bells out of one another. And Kyonko-chan has he's not covered himself in glory, really, with some of the moves that he's pulled in the Zerkotech car, i.e. he knows he can do better. We all know he can do better. And he's gone diving late on the brakes again. I suspect he's not happy with Zlatan his back, but then at the same time I think Zlatan's probably not happy with him either. Seamus has left the room, so it's just all gone a bit chaotic at the moment, and I'm trying to bring you as much information as I can whilst I'm receiving it. It is a little bit complex at the moment. There's D Whitehouse 7, he's in the Hampshire car, he's just running through. Big battle going on for 2nd place at the moment between Haas and Coleman. Haas is having to defend from Coleman on the inside, but slots himself there. Here comes 18.05 on the inside. Has he got the move done in the Steel Seal car? Yes, he has. Great move. Great move. Took advantage of the battling between Haas and Coleman there, and 18.05 is up into 3rd. Look at this gap though Carter Boy has. He's flying at the moment. He's 9.3 seconds ahead on lap 7. just watching at the moment Carter Boy, who's far up the road. We've got Haas in second place, we've got 1805 there in third, Coleman fourth. Snav is on his own in fifth place in the Power Products cars. He goes all over the curb through turn 3. Zlatan's got a 4/10 penalty with Kyonko-chan. These two definitely battle scarred. That would be the phrase I would call it. And Zlatan has now ghosted. I suspect he's hit the pause button because he's trying to find out further information. Bertus is in the Fuchs car, he's 8th, Richard P 9th, Shadowstalker on the inside, 4 turn 7, but he's not close enough to make a move on Richard P. DMK, he's 11th, Danzo 12th in the tank. There is the confirmation from Greener Army 2009 in the corner. It's a restart of the race. We have gone 12 minutes into the session, as a few drivers now are leaving the lobby. You can see at the moment they're sort of retiring to the pit lane or leaving it altogether like Seamus did. Just DYR's there, just waiting. DMK's there. Shows that there goes Kyonko-chan off at the final corner. I suspect from as 1805 has gone flying off into the barrier at turn 1. We didn't see that. I didn't see the whole of the incident. Not sure if he was punted there or if he went off by himself. I imagine Carter Boy's not going to be best pleased about the restart because he was flying. Look at his lap times, have been incredibly consistent apart from that last lap. He's been in the 24s from lap 3 onwards. But it is going to be a restart regardless. Danzo echoing some comments there, probably not the best language used. However, he has had a few issues. Bertus is now leaving the session. You could see they're now coming back into the lobby, so back comes Haas, I'm sure, in a moment. Kyonko-chan, a few frustrated drivers in the comments at the moment there. I'm just backing out for the moment as well, just so that we can sort a few different aspects. So the race, you can see there, has been voided for the time being. We will get it underway again. We do have a few technical issues at the moment trying to restart this session. We got a few different problems all over the place at the moment. Kyonko-chan's left and rejoined, which is good. Danzo obviously frustrated at what was occurring during the race. It did seem to be particularly messy during that race there. There was a lot of contact that was unnecessary during the race. It's not what we expect from the gents. They usually are exceptionally clean. can see a few comments. Everyone's now just sort of getting the positions reset and resorted. Obviously it's a little bit frustrating in terms of qualifying that you can't just re-input the positions back into place, so we've got a few drivers there. One thing I do know was that Slow Seamus was on pole, but frustratingly enough at the moment, as far as I can see, looking at it on the right hand side, he's not rejoined the lobby. Just a few comments. Danzo's put between 9th and 11th, so that would be 10th place then. Because that's the only number that's between 9 and 11 at the moment. Richard P, P8. Off the top of my head, from what I can remember, that sounds about right. Coleman P3, I believe he was. I think he was ahead of Snav, off the top of my own memory. Kyonko-chan, he started in P10. According to it, so we're still sorting out the lobby. Just sit and wait. That's all we can do for the time being. As we look at the drivers, just looking at the messages from the other side of the system using social media for this one, just to make sure we've got all the positions in the right place as it stands. A couple of facts while we're here. Regarding Lago Maggiore, directly translated into English, it actually translates directly into English as effectively large lake. That's what it means. Maggiore translated into English either means large or major, depending on what sort of variant or rather area of Italy you're from. So the Italians clearly thought, well, it's a big lake, let's just call it a big lake, which it is. It's the second biggest lake in the entirety of Italy at about 230 kilometres large. Obviously the current largest lake in the whole of Italy is Lake Garda. That sits at about 340 kilometres in length. Funny thing with Lago Maggiore is that the lake itself actually also flows into Switzerland, and it's been it's seen many different things. Lago Maggiore, it's been around for thousands and thousands of years, even before the Copper Age, when the first settlements were erected. So it's been around for a long time. It's obviously seen a lot, and naturally Gran Turismo's directors, they thought it would make a really good venue for the circuit, and that's where we're at. Obviously it's now seen a lot of action in terms of racing and other different events that have gone on GT support. There are 3 variants of Lago Maggiore. There is the GP circuit, there is also the East circuit, and we're obviously racing tonight at the West circuit. It's a little bit of a shame that we've had a few technical difficulties. I think as well some of the driving standards, I suspect, during that race was because it's going to be restarted, so hopefully we'll see much cleaner racing when we get underway, hopefully very soon. A few more comments in the chat on the left hand side there. Coleman doesn't think he'll be nowhere. I don't know, he drove quite well. He did have a very good qualifying session, did Jay Coleman. Haas, he says he doesn't believe he'll get through the pack this time. Well, despite all the chaos he was running in that top 3 fight. I think the one to watch is going to be Carter Boy, isn't it? He was fantastic during that brief race that we had, and if he's doing 1 minute 24 flats as best lap, he is going to certainly be the favourite to push his way through the pack and take a good result. So it seems now that we've got relatively enough of a grid order at the moment. We're just missing 2 positions in terms of getting who was in 5th place and who was in 11th before the restart. In fact, I believe the 11th place position would have been Greener Army. So 1805. It seems now all drivers are in the garage. We'll just have a quick look through, and there they all are, all waiting in the pit lane to be reorganised and reordered before we get underway. Seamus is out on circuit. Why not? He was on pole, and it'll give him a good chance to hopefully get some good laps in. We may as well ride on board with him because there isn't much else going on. At the moment, a big slide as he comes through turn number 3. Goes through this very quick left-right sequence of corners. It is flat in the Megane. Other cars less so because of the understeer. Looking particularly at the GT3 cars at that point as he comes now down towards turn 7. Difficult braking zone, because you can brake a lot later than you might think, but momentum is key coming out of that corner, and Seamus hasn't done too badly there. Again, also flat is turns 8 and 9. Got to be careful of the wall on the left hand side though, it does get very very close. You can see Shadow Stalker also taking advantage of a sort of extra sort of practice session as Seamus now comes round turn 11 and 12. Quite difficult set of corners, 11 and 12. If you get the line wrong through 11, it's going to compromise you through 12, which will then compromise you through on the entrance towards turn 13 as Seamus comes towards the line. What's his lap time going to be? It's not as quick as he was in qualifying, and it's not. It's a 26.5, so definitely more time to come from Seamus. For some reason, it says it does a 1 minute 30 on the right hand side. So we've got Dave currently rejoining us in the party. Dave, any updates, my good friend?
I believe we may have got the grid sorted. A few people are just taking a quick toilet break, and then hopefully we should be back to it. I think there's a bit of confusion on whether there's a restart or not. Obviously, if people were listening to the stream, they probably thought there was. Others didn't think there was. And that's what caused half the chaos in the first place.
Right, okay.
I mean, I got a great start. I was third at turn 1.
I was going to say, where we were running through, the final has been started, Dave, so fingers crossed.
I don't think everybody's ready.
Well, this has now looks like we have got everyone in position and ready for what is the second attempt of round 3 here at Lago Maggiore West. We've got 20 minutes on the right hand side. Here come the countdown numbers. The race is live here at Lago Maggiore. Everyone has gone away from the grid. That's good to see. Seamus has had a fantastic start. Snav is in second place. Good positioning from him as he head into turn 1. Snav's got second place. Steve has had a great start. Coleman's out wide. Richard P's out wide as well as they go through turn 2. Bit of contact between DMK and 1805, but it all seems okay. We just have a little bit of luck further back. Haas is up to 9th of those who started in the top 4 near at the back. Good start for him. As we have a quick run through, Seamus has had a fantastic start. He's going to be pleased that he's got 7 attempts to Stav. Here comes Sir Bertus and Coleman. Coleman on the outside for turn 1. He is marginally in front, but Bertus in the Fuchs car gets it up the inside. And Snav's had a big moment as he comes out of the corner. Coleman and Sir Bertus are still alongside one another as they go through turns 8 and 9. Coleman is there, Sir Bertus is still there, and I think Coleman's run into the barrier he has done, and he's going to drop back because of that. Frustrating for him. Bit more action going on in the background. You can see Richard P. Danzo's been gone out wide. Haas is up to 9th. Carter Boy's 10th. Danzo 11th. D. Whitehouse is 12th. I think that's Shadow Stalker in the Geisen car at the back. There's a bit more contact at the back of the grid. Carter Boy and Haas now have gone off. Haas has dropped all the way down to 13th. We're not sure what's happened there. More contact as Danzo and Zlatan get contact with one another as they come through the final corner. It's 4 wide as they go down the back straight. More contact between Zlato and Danzo. This is not going to end well. Danzo's backed out of it. It's good driving from him. It all got a little bit messy there as Zlatan gets himself into 9th place. D. Whitehouse Dave is up to 8th. Danzo's been turned around. He's not going to be happy with that. He was not happy during the practice race that's just run through, so he's now gone further backwards. As it looks like DMK now is having a move on Kionko. Trantrana goes around the outside. It's 3 wide ahead of them, almost, very briefly. 1805 right on the back of Sir Bertus with Coleman in 3rd. Is Bertus going to be able to dive up the inside? No, he's not. He's still fighting with 1805 as they come out of turn 7. D. Whitehouse is all in the gravel. Not sure what happened there. Didn't quite catch it. But Bertus is up to 4th. 1805 is 5th. DMK is still fighting with Kionko-chan. That's 6th and 7th as DMK slightly grazes the barrier there. Carter Boy's up to 8th. Zlatan is 9th. Haas is 10th. Shadow Stalker is now up to 10th. Zlatan's gone all the way back down. And yeah, that's not the best of comments from Danzo. That's not what we want to see. Shadow Stalker is 10th. Carter Boy up in 8th place at the moment. DMK 80 in the Sales I car. He's in 7th. There's more contact between Kionko-chan. Danzo has left the session. Doesn't particularly surprise me. I'm just going to quickly rejoin and come back in so that I can change the camera angles, which is fantastic. We run back through now. You've got Richard P there. He's in 12th place. There's cars off at the side of the road. 1805, that is DMK. They were together on circuit. They must have had a coming together going through turn 1. 1805's not happy about that. D. Whitehouse is in 9th. Shadow Stalker is in 8th. Somehow being able to get away with all this. Kionko-chan's in 6th. Carter Boy, championship leader. He's up in 5th place at the moment. Bertus is 4th in the Fuchs car. But that is your top 3. Coleman is in 3rd. Snav is 2nd, and he's closing the gap to Seamus in the Power Products car. He's now only half a second behind Seamus, who's trying to fend him off in the Works X machine. 6 attempts quicker on that last lap, and it's been an absolutely chaotic opening 3 laps. There's Sir Bertus. He's got Carter Boy on the inside, looking to make some moves where he can. If he gets past Sir Bertus, he's got 3 seconds of fresh air to try and get up to Coleman, so he'll hope, Carter Boy, that he can get through and pass the Fuchs car as soon as possible. Looks like he's got a good shot there. Sir Bertus is going right the way defensive, and it seems as if Carter Boy just drove into the back of him almost. As they go through now into turn 1, Bertus is there and he's shut the door on him. 1805 has left. He's obviously not happy with what happened. Carter Boy though now on the inside of Sir Bertus. Bertus squeezes, there's not enough room for the pair of them to go through, and that's Bertus off. He's now down into 5th place. Kyonko-chan is 6th. Haas is 7th currently. Got D Whitehouse, he's in 8th place in the Hampshire car. Shadowstalker's 9th. Managed to stay out of trouble as Shadowstalker despite everything that's gone on around him, but Slatin is back, going to try and get past him in the Adrian Flux car. Then you've got DMK in the Sales I car, he's 11th. Richard P in the Master Vault, he's 12th. And there is Greener Army in the Dread car, the number 57. He's in 13th, but we've got to change to the lead. Snav is up into P1. He's managed to fight his way past Seamus. 14 minutes and 33 seconds to go in the session. And Seamus now will have to just sort of bring himself back together and try and get some laps in that are consistent enough. This Carter Boy has cleared Sir Bertus as well. Coleman has gone off. He was running in 3rd place and now he's 7th, so we've not seen it. But Coleman, after having a really good run, has dropped right the way down the order, so he's going to be disappointed. Carter Boy, though, now has 5.8 seconds to make up. He set a 25.2 as his best lap so far, but we know he can go quicker. Dave has done a 24.3, but he's got a bit of a slowdown penalty that he's going to have to try and shift during the lap. And he's 5 seconds off his championship rival. The other top 4 drivers, looking at Haas, he's in 8th place in the Garage Floor Tile Company car. Zlatan is in 9th, so the race seems to have settled down a little bit now, as Kyonko-chan has been overtaken by Coleman in the 3M car. So Coleman now trying to make as best of a recovery as he can. It's going to be difficult for him though. There's Sir Bertus just slightly cutting the inside of the corner there in the Fuchs car. He's got D Whitehouse behind him. He's going to get caught surely, looking at the lap times. And Carter Boy there, he's the one to watch in the fast car at the moment, quite literally, because he's now only 4.05 behind Seamus, who's in 2nd. He's just done a 24.5 compared to Seamus' 26.1. That's a 2.5 seconds. Expect to see him there in 2 laps' time. Bertus now has got D Whitehouse right on his tail. D Whitehouse has gone for the switch back up the inside. That looks like a really clean move. And D Whitehouse has forced his way past Fuchs' powered car there. Sir Bertus in that car. He's now dropped to 5th place. Got Haas in 6th, Kyonko-chan 7th. Zlatan is back as 8th at the moment, with Coleman just behind. So Coleman's lost even more ground. And that once pristine red painted car's got even more scratches of white all over the back of it, so not sure what has happened to Coleman. DMK is now up to 10th after his earlier incidents. Richard P, he's 11th. Shadowstalker has now avoided all of the chaos and is in 12th place with Greener Army, back by himself at 13th, but he has done a 28.5 on his last lap, so that's much more encouraging for Greener Army. Hopefully he can move forward in the coming races. There's Haas, he's on the inside of Sir Bertus. He's got himself up the inside, and the Garage Floor Company car there has got it up into 5th place. There's D Whitehouse, 4th place. Carter Boy though is siving time. He's just set fastest lap of the race with a 24.3, and he's took another second out of these two at the front, Snav and Seamus. Seamus has gone a little bit wide. That's going to cost him time coming out of turn 3, and he lost about 2 tenths. Little mistakes like that are just going to drop him out of the slipstream from Snav, and he really does need to keep hold of it just to sort of keep the pressure on him, because he could still potentially get a really good result here, could Seamus, but he just needs to keep his focus. Carter Boy though is coming after the pair of them. D Whitehouse is 7 seconds behind now. It's going to be difficult for him to try and get any higher up. Not impossible though, of course. Haas is following, just a second behind. Coleman has got Sir Bertus planted to his rear wing. Here we go, up the inside, on floor cam effectively with Bertus. He's already got the move done. Nicely done from Sir Bertus. Coleman trying to look and make another move. looking to go around the outside through turns 8 and 9. Probably not going to happen through there. He's got DMK behind him in the Sales I car, pushing the car right to the limit as we go into the halfway point of the race. There is DMK, he's just sat behind him. We've got Zlatan as well, all over the back of him in his Adrian Flux sponsored car. It's a 4-car train at the moment. Zlatan very close to the back of DMK. DMK's gone a little bit wide. Not sure whether there was contact between two. Seems to be just a little bit of lag going on there. As Suburtus defends from Coleman as they go into turn 1. You can see DMK's managed to hold his position against Zlatan, as has Bertus. Lots of action going on with 9 minutes 25, 24, 23 on the clock. We'll just move slightly further forward. Carter Boy is still making inroads on these front two at the moment. You can see Seamus has started to reapply the pressure on Snav. But eventually this will become a 3-car battle, providing that these two don't make any, well, let's say, coming together in that sense. And I hope that they don't. Seamus in the Workouts car there is just sort of running over the grass effectively on the AstroTurf, and he slides through turn 11 and 12. There's Carter Boy. It's closing the gap. He's going to be on them very soon. Dave Whitehouse, he's not made any inroads into Carter Boy. The gap's gone out even further now. He's 8.5 away. He's just got to keep himself consistent and make sure he doesn't make any mistakes, because Haas has been... Oh, Haas has run very wide out the final corner. He gets away with it. But Haas has been the quiet driver of the season so far, but he's been picking up some good results, not making any mistakes. Bertus, Coleman, DMK and Zlatan all line astern as it stands. Going on to lap 9. DMK's run wide. Don't think Zlatan is close enough. I think Adrian Flux car there just went slightly wide as well. Kyonko Chan in the Zerkatech car, he's 10th. Richard P has had an underwhelming race by his standards, as Richard P did finish 5th last time out. And he's run wide through turn 3. He's all over the grass. Just about saves it. Good car control from Richard. He needs to keep hold of that. Stop himself as Seamus now and Snav are really starting to put the pressure on each other. Snav having to go defensive where he can through turns 8 and 9, but this is allowing this man, the championship leader, Carter Boy 99, to go right onto the back of the two of them with 7 minutes 20 remaining. Now, a 3-car battle for the lead, and he's done a 23.8 last lap as Carter Boy. He is setting some phenomenal lap times, and he's got a very, very good run out the final corner. We're on board with him as we head now towards turn 1. Is Seamus going to go defensive? He isn't. And Carter Boy's going to send one up the inside. Has he got the move done as he headed to turn 2? Oh, evidently. Easily done for Carter Boy. He moves straight up the inside, and that was that. Seamus almost didn't put up a fight as they all go right coming out of turn 3. That was it. Unbelievable. I've not seen that before. Snav rode wide, as did Carter Boy. I don't think Seamus is close enough to capitalise on this, but Snav looking for a first win of the season now with 6.5 minutes to go. Seamus is still there. It's had to force Carter Boy defence on the defensive line, and it looks like Seamus is still there. He's still waiting. He's still trying to get back into this potential race victory where he was leading earlier on. It's been a great showing from Seamus. A podium nonetheless would be a good result, but no doubt the Works car will want to win. But Carter Boy is now on to Snav. He's right on the back of him. You can see he's pushing Snav into positions he doesn't want to be at the moment. And the number 11 car is going to have to be exceptionally defensive now over the next 5.5 or odd minutes. Carter Boy's got a good run. Is he alongside enough? I think he is. As they come towards turn 1 now, Snav is squeezed and he's managed to chop his nose off. Carter Boy's going to go around the outside. That's a great move. Fantastic move from Carter Boy. He's got the inside for the corner. He's put his car in a great position and he's got the lead. Carter Boy takes the lead. Snav is second. Seamus is third. And Seamus has got a good run on Snav. Snav has caught the curb. Here comes Seamus on the inside through turns 5 and 6. It looks like he's got the move done. He has. He's already there. Great overtake from Seamus. He took advantage of the mistake from Snav coming out of the corner, and Snav has gone from first to third within the space of 6 corners. He's going to be frustrated with that. D. Whitehouse is 4th. Haas is 5th. Zlatan is now up to 6th. We haven't seen this. He was 9th earlier on in the race while we were watching the battle for the lead. Zabertis is 7th. Coleman is 8th. Richard P is now in 9th place. We've got Kyonko-chan in 10th. Shadowstalker 11th. Green Army 12th. What has happened to DMK? He's pulled over to the side of the road. Looks like game over for DMK80. As Carter Boy now having to fend off from Seamus, who isn't done yet. Despite him having the fastest lap set some incredible time, Seamus is not giving up. Seamus has got a good run. Was only just lower than 2 tenths behind him. DMK's left the room, he's left the session. Something has clearly happened to DMK that we haven't seen while we're watching this lead fight. But Seamus now, prime position to put the pressure on Carter Boy and potentially take a first win in the season. He's looking up the inside, potentially at turn 2, but he doesn't quite make it. Stav there, he's in 3rd place. He's going to have to just try and regroup in the Power Products car, see if he can move forward. Let's see how we are going at the moment. A couple of drivers watching. Oh, we're in the other session. We've got JPH commenting. Hi Jordan, nice to see you. At the moment, we've got Seamus, who's still all over the back of Carter Boy. We've got 3 minutes 30 to go. These two have now gapped Snav. I think that's it for Snav's charge, and it's going to be between these two for the race win. Carter Boy, he started last, don't forget, in the top 4 reverse grid, is now running in P1. He would love to get that victory, but Seamus is going to fight him all the way for it. Seamus still there, still hovering in his mirrors, and that's where he needs to be in the works car. That's exactly what he needs to do to keep putting him under pressure. Zlatan seems to have got away from the group behind him now. Coleman is in 7th, with Subertus in 8th in the Fuchs car. These two have been together for most of the race, and they haven't been swapping positions that often, but it seems that Coleman's got in front of him. Bit of contact potentially going through there, but you've got to watch out because Richard P's now coming forward in the Mastervolt car. Hasn't had the best of races as Richard, but it could be coming back to him with potentially 2 laps left in the race. A jump forward now back to the leading duo, and we've got Seamus still on the back of Carter Boy. He's going to have to just keep on him and try and force a mistake where he can. He's got a good run coming out of and he's forced Carter Boy defensive. Carter Boy on the inside for turn 7. Will Seamus break a little bit earlier, try the switchback? Yes, he does. Seems to have been a bit of lag, which is giving Carter Boy a chance to sort of defend from Seamus. It's not what he wanted to do, and Seamus is trying to go around the outside of him. This is going to be brave. Can't quite make it. Slots in right behind Carter Boy. He's gone wide. They've both got into the barrier. Unbelievable here at the moment at Lago Maggiore. These two are absolutely fighting hammer and tongs for this race win. After what seemed to be quite a messy earlier stage of the race between other drivers, these two are putting on a show at the moment, and hopefully with 1 lap to go potentially, let's see the time as they cross the line, because they could, if they're quick enough, get a 2nd lap out of it. It's going to be very nip and tuck between the two. There could be another lap of action yet to come here. Oh, Seamus has run wide going into turn 1. That's not what he needed. That dropped him off the back of Carter. The gap now out of the 2nd. Has that just taken away Seamus's chances? He's had a great race as Seamus as well. Zlatan there in 6th. Coleman has now managed to get away from Bertus. He's got Richard P all over the back of him. And Richard P, in fact, has gone up the inside of Bertus. The door was there, the gap was open, and Richard P put it up the inside. And he's up into 8th after a really understated run from himself. Seamus is still a battle on with what's going on. Yeah, it was a shame that Snav made the mistake, but it has happened. DMK has rejoined the room. Not sure what happened to DMK earlier on in the race, but he has rejoined. We did see him pulled over to the side of the road earlier, but Seamus is 7/10 behind. It's going to be absolutely nip and tuck as to whether we're going to get another lap between these two. 10 seconds to go. You can see it on the right hand side. Here he comes towards the line. Carter Boy's very, very slow coming out of the final corner. There's the checkered flag, and Carter Boy's took it. He timed it brilliantly. It says Seamus has got P1 though. It says Seamus has got P1. That would be incredible if that's the case. Snav has taken 3rd place. D. Whitehouse has got 4th in the Hampshire car. 5th is KZ2 Haas. Zlatan is back into 6th place. Coleman is in 7th position in the 3M car. Richard P. and Subertus, they're going to be 8th and 9th. Kyonko Chan, after having a very active race earlier on, he's in 10th. Shadowstalker in the Geisen car is coming around the final corner now. He's in 11th. And there is Greener Army rounding out the 12 finishers, and he's found another ball pit to play in, so interesting for him. But did Seamus snatch that on the line? The timing seemed to think that was the case. I think Carter Boy was slowing down out of the final corner slightly to potentially try and, you know, make sure that was the last lap. But has he shot himself in the foot? Has he shot himself in the foot there? It looked very close on the line, it has to be said. Here comes Greener Army in any case in the 57 car. As he comes round the final corner, the Dread car rounding out the runners. But what a finish. What a finish that was. An incident-packed race. A Carter Boy had a penalty. That is the result as it stands then. So, round 3, your race winner, Slow Seamus, takes the victory. A 1-second penalty, we didn't see it for Carter Boy, has given Seamus the win. He rightfully got pole position after our lobby race restart, and Seamus was the winner after all of that. Absolutely incredible scenes here at Lago Maggiore. What a race we had. But we did get there eventually. It took us a little bit of time, but we did eventually manage to round out this race. I hope you enjoyed it for round 3. We are back, of course, next week at round 14. Host has ended the session. Rather, round 4 we'll be at next. We'll be going to Sardinia, which is not too far away from Lago Maggiore, and that's the road track B, so we'll be there next Thursday, and I'll see you very, very soon.